Okay, I'm calling this meeting to order. It's 12:07. This is the Seattle Flow Arts Collective Fall Board Meeting. Welcome, everyone. I'm Kat. I'm the board chair of Seattle Flow Arts Collective. And we have a good agenda today. We're gonna do a couple housekeeping things, and then we'll get into the Kindle report. And then we have, I'll give a board chair report from the board retreat, and we'll talk about our other programs and operations and finances. So let's do roll call. We have board members, myself, Tuck, Ariana, Phoenix, and Desert. And we have Arlene, our executive director. We have community members, Tori, and we have some Kindle directors, Bridget and Rain. Did I miss anyone? I think that was everyone. Okay, and Tori is our Eastside Spin Jam host. So we all have cool roles in the organization, which is great. Thanks everyone for being here. So first we're gonna approve our agenda. So any edits or additions to the agenda? And then if not, can I have a motion to approve the agenda? All right, I'm not hearing any, so can I have a motion?
So move.
So moved. Second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
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 Okay, I think we adopted the agenda. Cool, and then we need to approve the August. Yeah.
Can we get the agenda pasted into chat?
Yes. I might have to directly share it with non-CFAC email addresses though. So if people don't have access, maybe put your email in the chat and I can share the link or share access.
Yeah, let me handle the share part, okay?
Okay, that sounds good. Thanks. All right, so thanks, Ariana, for the board minutes from the August 23rd board meeting. Do we have any discussion on the minutes? Hopefully everyone had a chance to take a look. Can I have a motion to adopt the minutes?
Moved.
Phoenix moved. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All right, they are approved. Okay, so now we'll go into the Kindle report. I'll turn it over to you all.
Excellent. So let's see. I need to share my screen.
Should be good.
I'm a co-host.
Yes.
Share. Got it.
Hit that button, babe.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Can you all see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. I'm Bridget, one of the directors of Kindle. I'm gonna go through a little overview of how our event went and how we're doing. So our attendance, we estimated about 600 and actually got pretty close to that. There were 321 general admin tickets, 235 comp tickets that were full comps, half comps were 8, and then youth tickets. Golden tickets are people that have been directors in the past who get it for free, and then we had a number more vendor tickets this year. Here's our projected and actual expenses and profit, which actually still need to be updated. I think there's still a little bit more work.
Yes.
And we will give you an updated copy of this. But we did great. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Here is an expenses breakdown. And here is the first pie chart that I've made since graduate school, which actually got much easier, by the way. I was like, this is quite easy. And we're like wages is the majority, and then facilities, and then other includes things like advertising, supplies, insurance, things like that. Here's some highlights from this year, kind of by department. So our access and inclusion team had some new programming this year, which everybody was very excited that was involved in that. They had a panel discussion as one of the workshops on site. They also had a number of really well-crafted social media slides to try to help with education just around things around access and inclusion. Our art and decor team made some new, I don't know if you saw the pretty arches. They're not really like an arch because they're a triangle, but there were multiple of them and they had lights. And then we did make a electronic unicycle corral this year for the fire circle. So we would stop tripping on UCs in the dark. Media team did pretty good. We had a sold out event for the first time since our transition that we don't talk about. We doubled social media followers, which was great. That was kind of a couple metrics that we were trying to hit this year. This was near and dear to my heart. We did have a helmet use decrease concussions TBI, kind of like try to social shift, and it was actually really successful. The medical team had no TBIs or concussions this year, which I think, and no significant UC accidents, which was great. It was very exciting. Also, if you didn't get a sticker, I still have some Helmet Hottie stickers. Workshops, there were 90 this year, which was very exciting. I feel like there's one other thing, but I didn't put it on here. Anyways, it was a good year. Reports of harm. So over the last year, we received and responded to 6 reports over that all happened prior to the event. None of them had involved events that had happened on site. We did actually respond to one that had happened in a year prior on site that is actually not in this. But there were no on-site reports of harm from this 2025 year. We are really working towards updating our process. We will start that by trying to elicit some community feedback by both kind of like a written, give us some feedback, but then also holding some kind of town halls to have further discussion around it. Our goal is really to better define Kindle's scope of responsibility with events situations that are presented to us. Also, we want to really articulate the intention behind our process, because I think there's definitely some confusion on that. And then we also really want to design a process that better aligns with our intentions and values. There were no critical medical incidents on site. We had a pretty mellow year. So this is from our demographics. I think we collected this for the first time. And the reasoning behind collecting demographics is for us to have a metric of like how successful our access and inclusion efforts are. We use it for that. We also can use it for applying for grants as a nonprofit. Yeah, and making sure that we're, on the path with what we're trying to accomplish in terms of inclusion of our communities. Here is a breakdown gender-wise. Here is a breakdown sexual orientation-wise. And I was like, well, there's a lot of representation of the LGBTQ community, which really hopefully will lend to any sort of grants in that area. And then here is our breakdown race-wise. And yeah, I mean, I think we will take a look at this and continue to take a look at this in terms of how successful our access and inclusion programs are. And just to be transparent, the sample size that we have was 53, which is just a little bit lower than the normal metric that we'd be looking for, kind of statistical power, but we were like really close. We're usually looking for about 10%, and this is like 8.8%. So we did do a survey this year, which I don't know has been done before. And we asked a number of questions. One of them, the overall feedback one, was just like really precious answers. It's very heartwarming. People talked about it being fantastic. I do want to know what one of the best, hardest years ever was. I'm very curious about that. Nat 20, the whole event, I was like, yeah, nerd stuff. I get it. It was okay. Some hiccups. And again, I mean, I think having some curiosity and I would love to be able to explore this further, right? Like what's going on for people that goes well. And we do have suggestions too that people gave us. One that resonated, a theme that resonated with a lot of people was really trying to improve our reports of harm process, which is imminently happening. Some of the other suggestions that were given that I, again, was just curious about, open the fire circle earlier, because like some people want to go to sleep. Like I'm actually old, so that doesn't sound worse to me. Improvement in the Exodus process, and we did try a new process this year, and actually already have some plans in place to shift it and improve it for next year. Shorter showcase, which again, that team also was like, okay, how do we shorten this up? Which we are already working on some ideas. There was one person's feedback who was like, could we have more support for first-time attendees? They had said, they felt a little lost being there the first time, and I just really love that. Like, that sounds so fun as an initiative to try to like bring people in, and I really, really do want people to feel comfortable and to be coming into this with a good feeling and being, one of us. I do think there was a big mix in the response to like, how was the music? Some people were like, it was great. Some people were like, nope. And I feel like that says to me more variety in Fire Circle music, because it's really working for some people and not for others. This year, the director team was myself, Clarice, Jackie, and Rain. We are currently in transition with the directors and are unclear what the director team will look like for our upcoming 2026 year, but we'll let people know when we know. Do I open this up for questions at all?
Sure.
Does anybody have questions?
I have comment.
Yes.
If you can bring the slide back up. And go back to the breakdown
Which breakdown?
of expenses.
Yeah. Let's see.
Bottom left arrow. Yeah, almost. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Almost?
Yeah. Keep going. Yep. More.
Okay.
More left arrow.
Okay.
We're gonna get there. It'll
That's
happen.
a breakdown.
We're gonna get there.
What's
One
this?
more. Yeah.
Okay.
So, one of the big things is paying people, paying artists, paying people who help out. I like that almost half of the event's total expenses is paying people, right? That's a pretty important metric. We could debate whether or not we're paying people enough all day long, but the fact that 50% roughly of the entire expense of the event is paying people, I think is a pretty big deal. And I think that people should be made aware of that, right? That's not a small amount, and not all events can say that. That's all I want to say.
Yay, thank you for that feedback. Good to know that.
Yeah, and I think that definitely aligned with the previous director team who were like, we really want to value people and do that in more financial ways. Any other questions or comments?
I don't think I have a question. I do believe that there are demographics from previous Kindles, but not all of them.
Do you know where?
Nope. That is all
Well,
that is 100% of the information I have.
I
But I think
I
that
suspect that we have some from Zach from one of his breakdowns from a previous board meeting,
yeah.
at least for year one.
Yeah, that's my recollection. I know for sure. Yeah, for sure it was in year one.
Okay.
And
Well,
we do have for instructors. Workshops has that.
oh,
Yeah.
that would be great to stick in here too.
Oh yeah, that would be.
We,
Yeah,
we have at least some of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be really good to know for sure.
How are we doing? You know?
Yeah, I can try to track down that information from Zach at some point. And I just also wanted to say, like, 90 workshops is like amazing. So, and thank you so much for this overview. And yeah, I really appreciate all the work that went into this and running the event as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll update with clearer, more updated numbers by the 7th this next week. So I'll update y'all with that.
Cool. How close are y'all to, like, I know there's still some like people that you're trying to track down, but how close are you to being done?
Very close. I have 3 people I still need to pay other than the performance workshop folks, which I need to check in with Jackie to see if that conversation has happened. So technically about 6 or 7 people that still need to be paid.
That's
And
okay.
then storage unit, the QuickBooks numbers, those kinds of things that just happened in the last couple of weeks. So really just very close to being done. Just need to wrap it up.
Hooray.
Yeah.
And then, okay, I guess I did have questions. As far as directors go, I know it's still in flux. It sounds like you're not sure like when a concrete date is. I'm just kind of curious, like if you have like a general idea of when you think you're gonna know or when you're like trying to decide. I know there's like, because event planning probably starts in like in Rioli in like January is my guess. So I'm just kind of curious, like
Yeah, I feel like that's been the tradition, but I feel like we're trying to spread things out a little bit more and like start now.
Sure.
As far as the timeline, I do know Zoe has said that she's not coming back. And I don't have a timeline on any other update. But I feel like we'll figure it out, you know?
Definitely. We will.
Yeah.
And we know we need to look for one more director for this year. So I think at least one more.
Blaze, go ahead.
Hello. I'm still recovering from Halloween, but this is really great. This is like more transparency about what happened at Kindle Finances than I've heard in like the past 3 years, all
good
up
to know.
front. So thank you very much. I'm glad that we can already ask questions and that. I don't have any like big questions right now. I just want to say this is great.
Oh, thank you. And thank you, Bridget, for talking, doing the thing, putting this together.
Yeah.
And when you do know who the directors will be, we'll want to review the MOU for next year and all of that. So keep us posted.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
We'll do what we did last year because, and then we were yeah, that was a mistake. Well, we won't make that mistake again.
Yeah, theoretically, there shouldn't be any major changes that need to be made beyond just like changing who has
Names.
signed the agreement.
Correct. Yep.
So,
Right?
yeah,
Agreed.
that should be, just making sure that everyone reviews it and re-reviews it because it's a long document and like I don't know everything that's in there. I don't think anyone like has probably memorized it. So always good to take a refresh.
And thanks to Desert for always reminding me to keep looking at that when I was not missing things here and there. So thank you for that, Desert. All your help this year.
Anything else?
All right.
Stop share?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you again. That was a really good report. And you're welcome to stay on and, listen to the rest of our meeting or hop off as you see fit. So, yeah.
I had 4 hours of sleep.
Thanks.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I'm on 2 and I still have people in my house, so I'm gonna go as well. But nice to see you all and thank you. Thanks again, Bridget. Take care all.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. So let's see. The next thing on our agenda is the board chair report from the board retreat. So that's me. Let me pull up my notes. All right. So in October, the board had our annual board retreat at a cabin in Snoqualmie. And we had myself, Ariana, Desert, Phoenix, Tuck, and Arlene, but Blaze wasn't able to join this year, so now you'll get to hear what happened. And Tori as well. We'll get to hear this overview. So at the retreat, we reflected on the past year and the state of the organization, and we set some goals for going forward. So this past year, we turned 5 years old. Blaze, Arlene, and myself founded CFAC in January 2020. So 2025 was our 5th birthday as a nonprofit, which is like a really great success because not all, new small nonprofits make it that far. So
Like half.
we're doing great by existing. Yeah. So that congratulations to everyone here and all the work that went into making that happen. So also this year we had the board chair transition where I took over and Blaze is now vice chair. And so we're, still kind of figuring out, fully what these roles look like. I'll get maybe to that a little bit more in the goals section. Another thing we did this year is we hired a media person to support Arlene in communications and marketing and, had a little bit of up and downs, but we have, I think, a good situation going forward and excited to have Jared on board to be our second staff person in a way. What else? So we were awarded multiple grants. some of which are pretty large for an organization of our size. So thank you to Arlene for the amazing work on grant writing, and I'm sure Desert has been supporting on the financial side. So, okay, well, you do the financials that track that, so I think it's related. But yeah, this puts the organization in a strong financial position. So that's a really big success from this year. All right, so we talked about some areas where we can still improve. We are low on capacity overall as an organization, I think, from staff to board to volunteers. You know, I think we're pretty strapped. And hopefully having Jared, you know, on as the marketing person will help with capacity on the staff side. Like I mentioned, you know, help some take some things off Arlene's plate. And we might also next year hire a grant writer to support Arlene in those efforts. So thinking about that. And then on the board side, we're looking for new board members. I think you all know that because we've been talking about it, but we haven't had anyone apply this year. So we still have a strong need for new board members. We're a really small board, and we need more people to help lead the organization on the back end. And it's a great way to contribute to the organization and build skills in nonprofit management. So we're going to be continuing those efforts on board recruitment. Reminder everyone to do your recordings that can be shared with those questions about like why you are involved in this work and what is meaningful to you about CFAC. Then on the volunteer side, you know, capacity wise, we need more volunteers to support our programs, which kind of gets to, I'm going to transition a little bit into goals. So one of our goals is sustainability for the Fire Jam. Event takes a lot of money and effort, and we need more volunteer support from the community to continue to make it happen. And we want to do more to recognize our volunteers, like providing dinner or cool swag. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like next year, and yeah, continuing to work on making the Fire Jam more sustainable and getting more volunteers across our programs. All right. Another goal as far as programs is to increase program participation. So that includes volunteering, but also like how many people attend our jams, how many new people, maybe doing more workshops, and kind of all of that stuff around participation, you know, relates back to our mission to promote well-being and inspire play by sharing and advancing flow arts. So we talked about that at the board retreat, and we think we might do like a survey of program participants to help inform our planning efforts going forward and really making sure that our program work is tied back to our mission as a nonprofit. So another goal is to do more to recognize individual donors who give donations to the organization. So every donation helps. We're so grateful to everyone that gives a donation, including many of the people here today. So how can we do more to show our appreciation for our donors and supporters? On the organizational side, one of our goals is to do a job performance of Arlene. So it's on my list to, the first step is to write the ED job description so that we know what we're evaluating her on. And we're also working to increase the compensation of the executive director. And it's really important to invest in our people and recognize the great work they're doing. So another thing on the organizational side is the board could do a self-evaluation some boards do this, to see how we're operating and how we can improve our work together and for the organization. And as I mentioned, further refining the role of the chair and vice chair. And, we might want to see if we want to reshuffle in the new year the board officer positions. Like Blaze, we should check in if you still are going to continue as vice chair, or so we got to figure out kind of what our roles are in the leadership team going forward. And we decided we're going to continue to have our every other Wednesday meetings, but shifting roles a little bit. I'm going to start doing some of the agendas to take some stuff off Arlene's plate, but we feel like mostly the Wednesday meetings are helpful, but we're going to reduce the number probably in the summer next year because of all the summer things. And we're thinking about establishing a performer referral list that we can refer folks to when we get groups asking us for performers. So that's something we talked about a bit at the board retreat. And we also want to document the history of flow arts in the Pacific Northwest, because this organization was built on a lot of community history, and it would be great to recognize what's come before CFAC was founded in flow arts in this area. So that's kind of my overview and summary of the board retreat. Would be happy to open it up for additions or questions, comments, thoughts.
That was great. I like here. It's funny that we spent so much time and had all these circuitous conversations. It's great to hear it just summarized line by line.
Thanks.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of cool stuff. I think, and then the one other thing that's on my radar for this year is to develop a kind of in line with the having a list of performers that we can use as to refer to people, because we get a lot of requests for things like that. Also developing a outline for how to respond to people who want CFAC to come as to bring a pop-up flow zone to their events or things like that, so that we have, again, just trying to figure out how to streamline communication when we get these requests, and so that it's not something that has to be made up fresh every time someone asks me that question, which I think will be great. And can also, I think will also facilitate us to be able to really expand our reach, because those types of tasks will be easier and more streamlined. And we can also silo people in who might want to help at those types of events as we're doing this other volunteer recruitment and stuff like that. So hopefully all of these things are going to synergize really nicely.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Ariana, are you able to take minutes? Are you doing it in a different doc than the agenda?
Yeah, I am doing it in a separate doc. I am taking a few minutes, but like this one, if you could link your notes, that'd be great. But we also have are we doing the AI thing or no?
Yes, we do have it turned
Oh,
on.
right.
Yeah. So I am taking a few, but that would be the full thing.
I'll email you my notes later. They're on my desktop right now, not on the drive.
Yeah, no
But
problem.
yeah, cool. All right. Anything else folks want to talk about with the board retreat? Otherwise, we can go into program updates from Arlene.
No questions for me. That was a great summary. I'm glad my whiteboard got a new sticker.
Yeah. And we had Skeleton John there, which I also feel is important to
I'm
mention.
hearing about this entity. Yes.
It was
Cool.
good.
All right.
Honorary
so-
board member.
Yeah. All right. Arlene, You want to update us on Flow Shop?
Yeah, not too many updates here for a change. We are not looking for venues. We are happily landed, y'all, for real. We are happily landed at Washington Hall. 206 Zulu really has been great to work with. I really am stoked with the space, and it really like suits our needs quite well in a land of impossible venue vibes. Attendance has been really good. I recently did just a like just looking at the overall numbers for Flow Shop this year versus last year. And overall, we are increased. The beginning of the indoor season, there's often like a little depression in attendance after the initial spike, just because people are like, I think, adjusting to the time change and light changes and all of that from summer. But our summer events were definitely better attended, like almost always in the 30s, and not uncommon for us to have like 40 plus people hanging out in the park with us. So that's been really fun. I am, as far as this year goes, oh, we turned 10. Flow Shop is 10 years old as of this September. So that's super, super cool. One of the longest running flow jams that I know of, longest in the city for sure, which is super exciting. I like how consistent that has been, and you know, that it's gotten to be such an integral part of the flow scene here in Seattle is super cool. And I'm always hoping that I will have more capacity to do more workshops. I do think it'd be cool to get back into that flow of things. It's been hard basically like since like lockdown stopped. We've kind of lost the cadence of that. So that's like a soft goal of mine for this year for that program. And if anyone like wants to help with that would also be cool too. We could collaborate. I think that's most of the Flow Shop stuff. Does anyone have questions or comments about Flow Shop? Okay. Desert's eyes moved around, but they didn't find anything. Cool. Okay, so moving on to Eastside Spin Jam. Tori, I'm happy to report, but I would love to hear if, not to put you on the spot, is there anything you would want to say about Eastside Spin Jam?
Oh, I'm ready. Um, yeah, so we are back indoors Sundays from 1 to 3 p.m. at the Crossroads Community Center. Our current average attendance is 10. Our outdoor attendance this year was 10.5. I'm always looking for like feedback and ideas on how to improve attendance. We're a little bit newer, so we're still kind of building up our regulars. I am on my list of things to do. I need to make a flyer for Spin Jam that I want to post at the community center. I already got their permission for that. And I will send that to you, Arlene, for review once I have that done. Our next workshop is November 23rd. That's going to be a Levy Wand all levels class with Etheria. And I did confirm with Etheria. She's going to send me the information to advertise that workshop this weekend, which I will also forward to Arlene. She just got done with Levy Legislature, so I heard that was an incredible success, but she's been really busy with planning and organizing that event. But we will have what we need this weekend. I'm also planning to update the Facebook event for that jam tomorrow or Monday once I have what I need. And then for December, we're going to be rescheduling Gina's Fan Foundations 2 workshop. Unfortunately, you might have heard she was sick last month, so we weren't able to have her workshop after all, but she is going to do it in December. We just haven't set a date for that yet, so I'll be letting you know soon once I have an idea. But yeah, other than that, things are in full swing for the indoor season. It's been pretty seamless with transitioning back inside to Crossroads Community Center, so I'm very happy that we're working with them for that space.
Yay, that's great. I love that. Will, as Jared gets more like geared up in his role as our social media person, I do have it on his radar that one of our goals for this year is to increase attendance for Eastside Spin Jam. Like we want to do that overall, but I know you and I, Tori, have talked specifically about that. So that's on the agenda there on all of our radars. And I'm also, as part of that, because Jared isn't local, his one true flaw, I'm going to be working with some photographers and videographers to come to Flow Shop and Eastside Spin Jam to just get material, just like content, so that we can, yes, because our phones can only do so much, and it's just nice to have someone whose job it is to like do that task and they're skilled at it. What a concept. Bring in the pros. So yeah, I'm stoked about that. Thanks so much, Tori, for hosting, for all your work, and to the other hosts too.
Oh, one other note on that front. I have a friend of mine who I worked with at PAX this year who made a vector for the prop circle that I've been posting, and I should be getting that soon, and I'll share that with you. But it is like absolutely gorgeous, and he's colorizing it. He's doing it all for free. Just a good friend of mine who was like, "That is a beautiful shape. Let's make it like a real thing." So I thought that was super cool, and I'll share it with you once I have it.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I have some really cool friends at PAX, and they just do stuff like that for fun. So,
Okay, great. I'm so excited. Wow. Okay, fun. I like that. Yeah, and I like that I love the Flow Shop logo, and I love the idea of like our little programs all having like their own little shapes or branding. That's super cute. I'm excited to
We're
see,
looking for something for March.
right? Yeah. Community Fire Jam. I could talk about it, but there's people here who might have more insight. Do Desert or Ariana, either of you want to talk about CFJ? Would you like me to?
Why don't you talk about it and then we can supplement?
Okay, cool. So yeah, little bit, just like a small amount for this past year. Community Fire Jam had fewer fire jams than normal, especially like for that event. We had 2 fire jams this year that we collaborated with Levity and Urbana to produce Creative Convergence, and one of those was rained out this year. So didn't have as many as we wanted to, and are having some discussion internally about like if Creative Convergence happens again, which is still up in the air, is that something we'd want to do? If we do that, do we want to also have our own jam? Do we actually have capacity for that? Right now, no, we don't really have capacity to do 2 jams in the same month. So trying to figure out where our priorities lie as far as that goes, looking at next year. And also, as Kat talked about earlier, just looking at really increasing the number of volunteers we have for that program. The just like on-site needs for the event to function seamlessly, it requires a lot of humans who are trained to do not super hard tasks, but they do need to know how to do them correctly, which takes a little bit of effort on multiple people's parts. So we're working to beef that up. Ideally, we would have a situation where we have like an entire robust crew, and we don't have to have every volunteer, like every lead volunteering for every event, and also every lead doesn't have to volunteer for the entirety of every event, right? We want people to be able to actually like participate. So that's one thing we're looking at improving for next year. And also just working to find ways that we can, what's the word? Like the word compensate is coming to mind, but just like express gratitude in like a physical form of some sort, whether like, you know, bringing back buying folks dinner, introducing some like swag that is like specific for Fire Jam volunteers, that kind of thing. So just some ways to kind of express more gratitude and also sweeten the pot a little bit, make it a little bit more exciting for people to volunteer. I think those are the main things that are coming to my mind. Ariana and Desert, what did I miss?
So I was just comparing to last year, which was kind of neat to look at. Um, we actually apparently only did 3 jams last year. I don't remember why. But if we take out the levity jam, it's the same amount. We had so not everyone comes who registers, but we had nearly 100, almost 100 more registrations this year. Um, and we actually, the thing that would be nice to improve is we had less donations this year, um, which our fire jam is super expensive. So it would be good to increase that. I think you pretty much covered our volunteer thing. That is the biggest, I think, challenge right now. Yeah, I don't know, Desert, anything else?
Just a couple things. How expensive? At 4 events, it's $2,000 an event. So it's something that, we should probably let people know. I don't think people realize, right? Because it's a whole lot cheaper to take your can of fuel to the park, spin by yourself. No, everything else y'all covered real well. I have started to progress knowing that this specific topic was coming up today, trying to get the producers and some of the staff together to have a end of the year wrap up conversation and start planning for next year, what that looks like, when we want to start. Want to do it the same way? Do we want to do the same venues? Right? I'm hearing some feedback that, volunteer is great, but Gasworks is level and paved. So, maybe we start talking about that. Which venue does the public really want? Does the community want us at? Right? I'm thinking probably some combination of the two. Other than that, it was a pretty good year. I'd like to do more of these events, honestly. I'd love to do once a month, starting in I don't know, April's a little risky. Maybe May, still a little risky, right?
August, a little risky.
Can be, for sure. So, I love to do that. Of course, for that, we need the people, we need the community to show up to support itself, right? Honestly, we are the people who are helping organize, but we can't keep doing all of the work. A lot of us are getting burnt on it. Phoenix.
Just a quick aside on the topic of venues. Have we made any progress in the potential White Seattle West White Center?
No, but that's a good reminder.
Check with them. I don't know for sure if that's a good venue or not, but it could be, and it could be cheaper and help facilitate at least the financial aspect of doing more jams.
I wrote it on my weekly list.
All right, should we move on to FlowFest?
FlowFest! Heck yeah. Yeah, we're still very beginner stages of planning for FlowFest. Applications are live though, as those are one instructor performer application for all of the FlowFest events, not just Seattle. So if folks are looking, you already can do it. We do have our venue permits approved and paid for the FlowFest Fire Jam on June 12th and the FlowFest main event day on June 13th. So that'll be Volunteer Park for the Fire Jam and Woodland Park for the main event on Saturday. And I think that we're also going to move the Sunday play date to Woodland Park last year we bopped back and forth each day, and I think that that was a little confusing. It was hard to like communicate in social media like succinctly. So I think that this will be a nice change. I was able to get about $300 knocked off of the permit fee for Woodland Park, which is great. Big ups to Carl. Always. Carl. And yeah, things are looking good. Cassandra will be working on an event flyer after this weekend for Seattle Flow Fest, and we'll be distributing that. We'll also do same as last year, where the front will be Flow Fest Seattle, the back will be general CFAC info, Cascade Juggle Fest, and then Kindle Northwest. So it's a sort of 4-in-1 flyer. And as an aside, I have also convinced Richard to do that for Cascade Juggle Fest. So it'll be the same thing where it's CJF on the front, and then probably just Kindle and Flow Fest Seattle on the back, since that event is more multi-pronged from like 3 organizations. So yeah, that's looking good. We might also, Desert, this is the moment where I say we might also switch ticket platforms for this year. I'm going to talk to Cassandra about it. She's really excited about this company called Sweat Pals. That's the name. And they offer some like marketing support and stuff like that. So there's like some benefits to them that are different from EventSprout. So unfortunately, we maybe just figured out how to learn EventSprout finances right before we switch, but I haven't decided on that yet. So those are, I think, the main FlowFest updates and plans. Yeah. Questions about FlowFest? Cool. So then last here we have just a little update with the Downtown Seattle Association. They're like a, I think, private but like city supported organization that provides like cultural enrichment programming in the downtown sector. And they reached out to us this year to hire us to run a little flow zone there during the day, which was fun, though sparsely attended, since we were mostly like post Labor Day, which is just when tourism really drops off, and we're mostly trying to convince people in suits to learn to juggle, which they were not as excited about as we were. Weird.
Next time I'm wearing my suit out there to spin my staff
100%.
in the suit to show them.
Yeah, 100%. I think
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the move. The hippies are too scary. The hippies and the circus artists are frightened the Seattle locals. Doing God's work out here. So, but she has also reached out about like some other opportunities, and has also helped connect us to other neighborhood associations like theirs. Things haven't like panned out quite yet for us to do more events with them or with these other organizations yet. But I think that it's just like a really cool relationship to be forming, and should like open up some doors to us within the city. And this is also part of spurring the goal of this year to have like a more solid program. So when people reach out with this specific request, we know how much to charge. I definitely undercharged them and wish I had paid more, or yeah, that we had been compensated more for what we provided, so that mostly I could compensate people who came to help better, because it's in the middle of the day. So most people are working, and if you are available, then you're a working artist and you need to make like gig money for that to like really be worth it. So, and I want to support our people in that way. So yeah, so some good lessons learned good little baby fledgling relationship, and I did get to pass juggle with people in business suits a bunch of times this summer, and that was cute. So I liked it. Yeah, and thanks to Desert and Ariana and Polly and AJ, who were all my helpers at that. Yeah, thanks for juggling with me.
Have we gotten any feedback from the DSA side?
No, they
Yeah.
didn't even come. I have not met them in person even.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a thing. I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's a thing.
Yeah, it's like they have like the people that I worked with like work in the office, and then they have the downtown ambassadors.
Yeah.
So we interacted with them. They were very friendly. They set up.
Yeah. The people that walk around and
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
Okay.
nothing really from the people that actually like hired us, unfortunately.
Yeah, I feel like they do so many different events that just like one of these days, one of their event people is going to come and be like, "This is amazing. What is this?" And it'll be like, "You paid us." And they'll be like, "Oh, cool." You know, I feel like we're setting that up. But that's great to hear. Thanks.
Yeah, it's good. Those are the program updates.
Thanks, Arlene. Do we want to take a quick break? We're halfway through. We might finish early. I feel like we could keep going unless people strongly want like a 5-minute break. Okay, we'll keep going. Cool. All right. We'll hand it over to Desert for the treasurer report.
Okie dokie. I just put the link to the report in the chat for everybody. Well, I'll also share my screen and we'll just walk through this report. I'm not going to open each of these documents. Everybody has access and should be familiar with these documents by now. The approved budget from earlier this year. Our living budget has been updated for Q3 expenses, and we have all of our normal statements of activity by class, the statement of financial position from the end of September is also in here. But the highlights are that right now we're sitting on about $99,000 in cash. That's split between 20 grand in our savings and about 80 in our checking, which is a pretty clear indication that we got to do something with this money. But a big surprise was this $20,000 anonymous donation that we think is a personal donation that was passed on one of the donation platforms to us. Arlene, you want to speak to that at all?
Yeah, you guys, I went to look for like a $750 check in our mailbox, and in addition to that check, there was a $20,000 check from an anonymous donor. So thank you, whoever you are. That is like incredible. And you know, and I think as Kat pointed out, is also like, you know, not only is it amazing, that's like a really like incredibly meaningful amount of money. That's like more than 2 of our programs. But yeah, someone thinks that what we're doing is like cool and meaningful and worth throwing 20,000 of their own personal dollars at. And I just like, that's super, super rad. So
yeah,
we're stoked about the money, but honestly, like it means more to me that someone thought we were worth that.
Totally. Yeah. So that's the big surprise in my report. The big, oh my goodness, y'all. Everything else is numbers, and I live in them. I swim in them. So I'm gonna throw a few of them at y'all now. That number, that 99,000, that includes a grant that Arlene applied for. That's a 3-year grant, pays over 3 years. The first year, this year, it was $24,800. That's included in this 99,000, as is the $20,000 anonymous. There's another grant that we're expecting to come in that's for 26,700 that is not yet reflected in our standing cash of 99 grand. Okay, 99,000. Sorry. So we've got money. We've got money coming in. We just need to file that reimbursement. Our revenue, because we don't always reflect these grants immediately in our books for reasons that we're not going to get into, but we're going to work on fixing that approach with our bookkeeper. Our revenue, not including the grants, was $7,200. So our donations are pretty low. Our grants are really high, our donations are low. This is the inverse of what we had historically, right? When we first started, we were completely donation funded, board gifts, paid some of the bills, and then donations kept us going. And now that's really switching over to grants. And we can see in the living budget, Arlene is the one responsible for grabbing all these grants. And the amount of time that Arlene puts in compared to the return is bonkers, y'all. Like absolutely just bonkers. So our expenditures, we brought in 7,200. We spent about $17,000, and most of that is venue costs, actually. Venue costs and payroll. Those are our big expenses. Other news, I'm pretty frustrated with McBooks, and I'm almost certainly going to drop them at the end of this year after they close out the books for 2025. We've had issues with accuracy. I requested like an improvement plan to catch additional things. And effectively what they told us is, we'll charge you more money to be more accurate, to double check. If we have to have someone else confirm the numbers, then we're just going to charge you for their time, which I'm not down with. I don't like how they're handling our account. Okay? So I'm ready to explore other options. If anybody has any recommendations for a bookkeeper, accountant for nonprofit, throw them my way. My intention is to start interviewing as soon as I have some names to start with. Ideally, no later than a couple of weeks from today. I want to start checking in and trying to get something lined up to take over January 16th, which is the day after MixBooks would close our 2025 accounts. Kat.
I don't have any specific recommendations for other bookkeepers, but a resource might be there's a nonprofit called 501 Commons, and they are a resource for other nonprofits on a variety of nonprofit things. So they might have a list or some referrals for potential bookkeepers for nonprofits.
Cool. What was that? 501 Commons?
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, AI, action item for Desert. Reach out to 501 Commons. All right, we're going to keep on going. This is going to be quick, y'all. Unless you want to dig deep into the numbers, I'm keeping just to this report. The last item that I have was investments. We have a lot of standing cash. We need to figure out investments. We need to start looking towards, some investment strategies for CFAC and how we can make this money do a little bit for us while it's just sitting there, right? I think everyone's here familiar with like CDs, high yield savings accounts. We've talked about it, but what we're missing is the financial institution or a investment vehicle. All right. And then at the bottom of the treasurer's report back in like last year, I broke down a bunch of things on like breakouts and ideas for CDs and stuff. They're still applicable. I didn't update all the percentage points. Everything is roughly 1.5% lower than it was when I put this together last year or early this year. All right. And taxes. No, that was old news. That's it. It's pretty easy because of all the work that is done on the back. Anybody have questions for me?
I guess just thinking about the living budget. So when I looked at it, it forecasts a surplus at the end of the year. Am I reading that correctly?
What you're forecasting, you're talking column I here?
Yeah, I think so.
That was based on our approved budget, and yes. but that is not where we're gonna end up in our actual budget.
Which column forecasts where we think we're gonna end up?
We do not have one. We do not do that work.
Okay.
Is column E is like, is one of these what, is there one that is like the total for this year? Does that make sense? Like one column that encapsulates the 3 first quarters?
Yeah, this 2025 actual under W.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
That's what has actually been spent Q1 to Q3, our
Okay.
complete operation.
Great. Yeah,
So
a little weird right now.
year to date, we're 27,000 in the red, but we're anticipating that grant coming in, and hopefully we won't be in the red at the end of the year.
This goes through the end of September, and in October, we have received about $44,000 in donations via
Right.
grants. That is not reflected in here.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. And with another 2,400 incoming. Right? So there's about 60, closer to $70,000 that's not reflected in this report right now. Want to add it up, Arlene? It's the sustained grant, it's the $20,000 grant, and then it's the reimbursement grant. No, all 3 of those are not included.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I thought that we had gotten the sustained one into the fray, but okay.
Our bookkeeper held it back.
Yeah.
From
Okay,
the-
until this month. Okay, that makes
Oh.
sense to me.
Until we told them to not do that.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for reasons.
But hell yeah, clowns. Like, that's a good year.
Yeah. So effectively, we're looking at, if you're trying to get a sense of net for the year, Kat, we're gonna be about even, a little bit on the positive side, I believe. And if that, I mean, I haven't done that kind of reporting because trying to do that on like Q1 or Q2, there's so many variables, right? But if that's a request, I could definitely put that on my list for like, I can try and do it for all the board meeting, for each board meeting, if that would be helpful, but definitely for Q3, because we don't have much going on for the rest of this year, right? It's pretty easily predictable.
Yeah, I think that would make sense. You know, the nonprofit I work for, yeah, probably halfway through the year, we start forecasting out where we think we're going to land in the rest of the year, revenue and expenses. And so that might be an interesting like thing to add to this spreadsheet with like a Q4 forecast of what you know is going to happen. So yeah, I think that might be good going forward if that's possible. All right. Thank you so much, Desert, for all the work that you do as treasurer on the financials and everything. It's really appreciated and really good work. So
yeah, one more bit. Arlene and I are working on breaking out the budget into classes now, effectively each program plus admin costs, because right now we only have this kind of overall budget that doesn't get down into individual programming. So we already had our first session last week. We'll have another one this coming Monday, and after that it might be ready for the first like round review, just to send out for the board, kind of explain what, I'm putting that out there.
Like,
Yeah. Just to get some feedback and thoughts, right? Before we get any further into it, put more time. All right. That's all I got.
All right. Thank you. I did add something that I realized was missing from our agenda, which is the development report. We've talked some about grants, but we also have the end of year fundraising campaign coming up. So I don't know, Arlene, if there's anything you want to say about either of those things. Sorry, surprise. I added it.
Yeah, so let's see, like Desert said, so we've already received from For Culture the whatever the number was, like 24,800 or something for the first year of our 3-year grant. The next 2 years for that will be a little bit more involved as far as like reporting and things go, and I believe that they will be reimbursement grants. So this year they did like a special case to just put money in the hands of organizations more quickly due to like increased need among the community of nonprofits that they're serving. So that one, I missed my goal to complete both of those grant reports by the end of October, but I am going to do them. So that's that one. Arts Fund, we received 25,000 from them. That's all closed up and done. Thank you, Arts Fund, for being a huge, like, providing so much funding without any strings attached is like such a gift to all nonprofits everywhere. Thank you. And then the other big one that we're working through has been the Public Free Access Grant, which was also provided by For Culture. And we got some feedback from them about some questions that Desert and I had regarding that. And also after like letting it simmer for a little longer, Desert and I thought we were only going to be seeking a partial reimbursement of like the full amount that they offered us. But we are going to be hitting and exceeding the full amount by the end of the year. So we'll be requesting that. I'm planning to complete that this week. I have already done like the bulk of the work, and I was seeking some feedback about the narrative part of the report from some people who are more experienced in grant writing and grant reporting than I am. So I got their feedback, and now we're ready to go forward.
What did you learn?
I had this like, so I was like, so the whole thing with the Public Free Access Grant is that qualifying, not all of our programs qualify, even though with the exception of Kindle, all of our programs are free to attend. They have like some specific criteria around like counting people, like counting attendance. And I included the information about our programs for this year that did meet the criteria that we're seeking reimbursement funds for, and was curious if it would make sense to like mention just as an aside that we have other programs that don't meet the qualifications for the grant technically, but that are also free to the public, and like bring in a bunch of people and stuff like that. And I asked if it would be weird to include that, and Cassandra's mom said, yes, it would be weird to include that. So now I know, which is great. But I do think it's something we could include in like an application. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that was interesting. It was good. It was good. She's like a grant guru. She like just put together an entire like lesson about how to do grant writing. So she's kind of a powerhouse. As an aside, one thing about that Public Free Access Grant is that it asks for the total number of attendees. That's like part of the criteria, is that you have to be able to track the precise number of attendees at each event. And we did see like an overall growth, but from this year and last year, which is cool. It's not like a huge difference, and it's not complete yet because obviously we still have 2 months left in the year. But yeah, we do have more people attending our events this year compared to last. So go team. And then the last thing about grants for now is that the Fund the Flow Arts grant is popping up again. That is due December 31st. We are going to be applying for that. I haven't started yet. I'm sort of kicking around thinking about like what exactly we would want to apply for, what would make the most sense. I'm thinking about maybe applying for Flow Fest, but want to run that by Cassandra because I think she's also like on the team that makes decisions about these grants. So it's kind of an awkward thing, and also is like a program that we could get funded. And then obviously there's like Community Fire Jam. I think any of our programs are really like great and would work well for that grant. So that's coming up. Desert, do you want to say words and then I'll talk about end of year fundraiser?
Sure. Other thing that happened this past quarter is that, sorry, someone's calling, is that Arlene and I went down and kind of sorted out our banking stuff with BECU. Did a full review of the accounts, swapped the controller from Blaze to me, and the online admin stuff. So I'll be managing that now. So Blaze is free, no longer needs to be bothered with that stuff. We've removed Zoe, as Zoe is no longer a director for Kindle. Yeah, so all of those things are done. I just wanted to get that into the official record. That's all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, very exciting. For real, that was genuine.
We were in that office for almost 2 hours, and then I went back for another hour
Yeah,
after our board retreat. Yeah.
genuine excitement.
And we have a new process for debit cards to directors that may or may not be easier. We will find out the next time that we have a director updated Kindle.
It's always a new adventure, guys, you know, and I think that's great most of the time. End of year fundraising. Yeah, we are going to do it. Our annual campaign around Giving Tuesday. I have sent an email to the board to request donations for our kind of traditional matching fund that we use to help increase donations for the end of year giving campaign. I think I asked people to respond to that by November 14th, but you should see what day I said in the email. Thanks to the couple of you who have responded already. If anyone has questions or concerns about that, let me know. As folks in this room are familiar, we ask board members to make a personally, financially meaningful contribution to the organization each year. And that's up to you to decide what that is and how that works. So let me know if there's anything you need there. And thank you in advance for your contributions in that form. I will be, in past years, we've kind of like kicked it off around Giving Tuesday, but then have been like running the campaign for like the entire month of December, basically. And in lieu of like our finances for this year and like trying to manage my time better, I'm probably going to do a shorter campaign. So it'll still end up being, I think, like 5 or 6 weeks all in all, but it'll be more like build up that's happening prior to Giving Tuesday, trying to do just a really big push on Giving Tuesday and that week. And then the following week as sort of a like, hey, thank you to everyone who donated. By the way, it's not too late, sort of a thing. And then closing out the campaign like maybe the second week of December or something like that. I forget what the exact timeline works out to be. Goals are to, I said, to raise 2,500 in community donations. And I would like to add at least 2 monthly donors. Monthly donors in my mind are more meaningful than like a one-time donation, right? Like if people donate $5 a month, that like really quickly just kind of like disappears for them as far as like money. It's not a big amount, comes out automatically. But having that like $60 that we like can count on reliably in our budget really makes it so much easier. So gonna try and like push that again more this year, and am also going to be utilizing our new marketing coordinator person to help with that this year, which I'm very excited about. And that's what I have on end of year fundraising. Any
And as
questions?
far as I know, Giving Tuesday is December 2nd.
I believe that is true, yes. Yeah,
I
it's a
just looked
Tuesday.
it up.
Yeah, it's a Tuesday after Thanksgiving.
Yep. Cool. All right. Thanks, Arlene. Operations, we talked already some about having a new marketing contractor, Jared, but is there anything else we want to say? We, at the board retreat, brainstormed some things for Jared to do. But I don't know. Yeah. Do we want to have to talk about this part of operations for a minute?
Yeah, I think it's good too for posterity and put it in here. Excuse me. So yeah, we hired a new marketing person, and Jared has been great so far. We've had a few meetings. We're definitely still in like you know, training and just like showing him around like the Google folder for marketing, and like figuring out we're going to be doing this coming Monday, we'll get to do a tour of Meta Business Suite. I wrote up a training for that, for how to make posts. And also we're going to, on Desert Suggestion, like I'm going to make a post with Jared in Zoom using the screen share feature and recording that, so that we also like have that for future people, or so that Jared can reference back to it, which is exciting. That's like one thing that is kind of hard about hiring someone new, but that is also good about hiring someone new, is that it really does force us to like write some policies and procedures down, which, you know, is not like something that we get around to all that often. And I'm just real stoked. He's got a lot of really great ideas. He's really like running with stuff. I did ask him to research SEO, and he said he will do it. And just how cool is that? That's all. And we did raise the pay. So originally we were hiring that person at $21 an hour, and bumped it up to $25 per hour. I haven't like thought hard enough about this yet, but I'm curious about like the like percentage difference in pay for like different roles within the organization. So like if we are bumping my pay, this isn't approved yet, but like the number that we've been throwing out is $35, whether that's like per hour or sort of a combination of a per hour rate with other like benefits, like whatever, retirement accounts and help with insurance premiums and stuff like that. But I like I want to not be an organization where like the director makes like $1 billion and then the other workers make minimum wage. That's like not the vibe to me. So that's just something I want to like say out loud to this group as something that we're thinking about as we expand our team of especially of like paid people, just like how we're keeping things equitable and yeah, not like repeating the same toxic systems that we see ruining everything around us. Yeah. And I am on Team Jared.
All right, thank you. Anything else we should talk about with operations?
I have started the work of trying to get away from the event calendar that we use to a Google Calendar. It's not actually that hard. We're gonna need to do some adjustments to our workflows, but I don't see that being a problem for us. I'll write up a plan for everybody and throw it out there just as soon as I learn how it works.
Cool, yeah, because one of the things that I would like for Jared to do is to help with the calendar, but that might, yeah, depending on
Yeah,
admin or, yeah, just access stuff.
I'm keeping that in mind and he'll be able to do that once I'm done.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, yep.
Cool. Oh, and his email is media@seattleflowarts.org. You can email him. Wow. I'm just
Exciting.
really excited about that.
All right. So the last thing on the agenda is board member recognition and thank you. This is, I think, Phoenix's last meeting because they're about to finish up their board term, and just wanted to express a lot of appreciation for your insights and your engagement and all your time and effort and participation. Like, it means so much. And obviously we'll stay connected as friends and community, but just wanted to take a moment to like recognize your contributions to the board. So thank you so much, Phoenix.
Thanks, guys. I'll be around.
And
Sure.
if anyone else wants to add, or Phoenix, yeah, if anyone wants to talk now, I will open it up.
I'm also on Team Phoenix. Yeah, for real, you have like you just have like, I don't know what it is exactly, but you have like a really broad like breadth of experience and perspectives, and I've really appreciated the like, I feel like you like sometimes we get really here and then you just come in and are like, oh, what about over here? And we're like, oh, yeah, over here. Like, let's do that. And that's happened a number of times, and it's just been like really, really great to have you on the board. And I know that you also did a lot of work as treasurer in the before McBooks times, which was also a huge amount of effort. And like, I know a small amount of how much goes into that. And it's like, really just appreciate you. We're gonna miss you being in these meetings.
I'll still be around some. Just less. Thanks, you guys. It's been great. A lot of work, but also a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, as it should be. All right. I think we are just about ready to adjourn. I'm just going to see if there's anything else we want to cover. If anyone has anything to say. This is a really good meeting. Lots of good updates and content. So thanks, everybody. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. It's 1:36. Oh, Desert. Can't hear
muted.
you.
Arlene, can you stop the recording?
Pause or stop?
Stop. Yeah, we're adjourned.